I shouldn't have let his fingers stay on my skin that long. But the truth is, I didn't move. Not an inch. Because the moment he touched me, just that simple, slow stroke along the side of my arm, something inside me cracked open like a match scraping against the box. His touch struck first. And I exploded quietly inside. A soft, trembling storm. A moan I didn't release, but it lived behind my lips like a mystery waiting to be solved. I remember standing there in that dim hotel hallway, the AC humming low, the golden wall sconce lighting only half of his face. It made him look dangerous and tempting, like a man who knew the weight of his own charm and wasn't afraid to use it. "Are you okay?" he asked. No. I wasn't. But I nodded anyway. Because the heat in his eyes, the way his voice softened, the way his hand brushed mine again as if by accident, none of it felt accidental. And if you're watching this right now, before I go deeper into this whole twisted, beautiful, messy thing, please hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it. Someone out there needs to hear this confession, trust me. Now, let me take you back to where it all really started. The beginning of the slip. I wasn't looking for trouble. I wasn't even looking for attention. I was just a tired wife, emotionally dry, mentally drained, and slowly fading behind a marriage that wasn't feeding me anymore. But life has a way of testing your weakness at the exact second you think you're strong. I met him at a corporate retreat in Miami. My company sent me there to reconnect with the team, but it felt more like they were giving me a break from the routine I was drowning in. He wasn't even supposed to talk to me. We were assigned to different breakout groups. Different floors. Different realities. But on the second day, I lost my key card. Or maybe, deep down, I let myself lose it. He saw me struggling with the door and stopped. "You okay?" he asked for the first time. His voice was velvet, just smooth enough to slip into your thoughts and sit there. I told him what happened, embarrassed and flustered, and he offered to walk me down to the reception desk. That walk. God. If only I had known that was the beginning of the unraveling. The way he listened. The way he slowed down so he could walk beside me, not ahead. The way his shoulder kept brushing mine, soft, light, like he was asking questions without words. Questions I should not have wanted to answer. I remember thinking, it's just kindness. It's harmless. It's nothing. But nothing turned into something the moment he held the elevator for me and our fingers touched. Accidentally. But deliberately. But accidentally. But I still don't know which. All I know is, my body reacted before my mind could warn me. A spark. A throb. A small explosion behind my ribs. What a Moans mystery. And that's how the door of danger opened, quietly, gently, with a touch that wasn't supposed to mean anything. But everything changed after that first spark. And in the next chapter, I'll tell you how he stopped pretending. Before we continue, please remember to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss chapter 2 of this confession. I never planned for silence to speak louder than my words. But that night, it did. And he read every quiet breath I tried to hide. The moment still replays in my head like a movie that refuses to stop. His shadow leaning over me. His warmth brushing against my skin. And me, lying there, pretending I wasn't shaking inside. I had gone to his apartment only to talk. Because I thought talking would help me understand why I felt things I shouldn't feel for a man who wasn't mine. But talking was the last thing my body wanted. The night it shifted. It started simple. He opened the door with that slow, dangerous smile. "Come in," he said, voice low enough to slip under my ribs. I stepped inside. He didn't touch me at first. He didn't need to. His presence was already pressing against every guilty place in me. We sat on his couch, a little too close, but neither of us corrected it. He asked about my week. I answered with short sentences, trying not to look at his mouth. But he noticed. "Why are you avoiding my eyes?" he asked softly. I should have lied. I should have denied. I should have stood up and walked out. But instead, I said nothing. That silence was my first betrayal. Because that silence told him everything my words refused to confess. He came closer, slowly, like he knew I wouldn't stop him. And I didn't. When he struck, he brushed his fingers against my jaw, barely a touch, but it lit every nerve in me like electricity. "Say something," he whispered. But I couldn't. Not when his hand slid behind my neck. Not when he leaned in. Not when his breath touched my lips. Then he kissed me. Not soft, not asking. But striking, claiming, as if he'd been holding back for weeks. That kiss broke me open. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't patient. It was a blow straight to the center of every craving I had buried. His lips moved like he knew exactly where I hurt. Exactly where I melted. And when his mouth pressed deeper, I exploded. Not with sound, but with a trembling gasp I couldn't hold. A sound so small, so sharp, so raw. He heard it. He froze. Then he smiled against my lips. "You felt that," he murmured. I didn't answer. But my silence told the truth, again. And my silence betrayed me. He leaned back, eyes dark with understanding. "You want this," he said. "Even if you pretend otherwise." My heart hammered so hard I could feel it in my knees. He moved closer again, slower this time, deliberate. His fingers traced my collarbone, light, exploring, teasing. I shivered. He watched every reaction. "You're shaking," he whispered. "I'm not," I breathed, but even I didn't believe it. He chuckled softly, lifting my chin with 2 fingers. "You don't have to speak," he said. "Your body already confessed." That was the moment. The exact second. My silence became louder than every lie I had ever told myself. Because he was right. I wanted him. Badly. Fearfully. Dangerously. And he knew it. He leaned forward again, closer, until his lips hovered a breath away from mine. "Tell me to stop," he said. I couldn't. I didn't. And that was the final betrayal. Because he wasn't the only one learning me. I was learning myself, too. Learning how deep the hunger went. Learning how much I had already crossed. Learning that desire has no mercy. And that night was only the beginning. I didn't know nightfall could sound like temptation until that evening, when he struck, and I exploded in ways I didn't understand. Even now, as I sit here whispering this confession into a microphone, I can still feel the echo of that moment behind my ribs, like a secret heartbeat. I shouldn't have been there. I shouldn't have opened the door. But I did. And the moment I saw him leaning against the wall outside my apartment, hoodie low, breath warm, eyes burning like he'd walked straight out of my fantasies, I knew something inside me had crossed a line that could never uncross. "Are you alone?" he asked. My throat tightened. Yes. One word. One mistake. One irreversible step. He walked inside without waiting for permission. The door clicked shut behind him, and that was the sound, the exact second, my marriage crumbled without making noise. My knees felt weak. My hands trembled. But my pulse wanted him. He stepped closer, and I swear the air thickened around us. His fingers brushed my jaw. Just that tiny strike. Just that tiny contact. But it felt like lightning meeting gasoline. My breath broke. My voice disappeared. My body shook with a heat I couldn't hide anymore. Then he said, "Tell me you don't want this." But I couldn't speak. Because I did. God help me, I did. He leaned forward, and when his lips touched my neck, soft at first, then deeper, hungrier, I exploded. The kind of explosion no fire department could ever extinguish. The kind of moan that escapes before you can guard it. It slipped out of me, raw and helpless. A mystery. A moan I didn't recognize. A sound that didn't belong to a married woman. Damn, he whispered against my skin. I knew you'd sound like that. His voice alone dragged my sanity to the edge. I tried to step back. I tried to breathe. But the darkness in him had already matched the darkness in me. He struck again, another kiss, deeper, harsher, and this time the moan that left me felt sinful enough to stain the air itself. And that's when everything went darker. Because he wasn't the same man from the hallway. No. What I saw in his eyes then. It was possession. Desire dipped in danger. You're trembling, he said, gripping my waist. I shouldn't be here, I whispered. But you want to be. I hated that he was right. When he lifted me onto the kitchen counter, my wedding ring tapped against the wood. That tiny metallic sound punched guilt into my chest so hard I almost cried. But then he dragged his lips down my throat, slow and burning, and all my reasons melted. My lies grew heavier. My loyalty vanished. My fear became fuel. That's when the real mystery began. Because the more he touched me, the more I wasn't myself. Something inside me unlocked. Something wild. Something reckless. Something I didn't know I was capable of. My moans became confessions. My body became a traitor. And the night became a point of no return. Halfway through, he paused, studying my face like he was trying to memorize it. You're hiding something, he murmured. I'm married, I breathed. He didn't flinch. He didn't stop. He only smirked, brushing his thumb across my lips. That's why you taste dangerous. Darker. Deeper. Impossible to reverse. Because after that. After those words. After that look. After that explosion in my chest. There was no going back to innocence. No going back to pretending. No going back to the woman I used to be. Somewhere in the middle of his kisses, I remembered I was recording this for people who love these messy, real-life confessions, so. Kiss Mark if you're still listening, hit like, share this story, and make sure you subscribe. Trust me, what comes next gets even darker. Even deeper. Even more irreversible. Kiss Mark. Because the moment he carried me to the bedroom, my undoing became complete. And the mystery of my moans? He solved it. Piece by sinful piece. I used to think passion was the spark that made a secret affair addictive. But that night, I learned passion can also be the rope that slowly coils around your throat, warm at first, then dangerously firm. It began with one strike. Not a violent one. Not something that hurt. Just his hand landing on my waist with a forceful claim. And my body reacting before my mind caught up. I remember the sound. That low, deep moan that escaped me before I knew it was mine. And the moment it left my lips, something shifted in him. A flicker. A hunger. A spark that didn't feel like passion anymore. It felt like possession. Say it again, he whispered, breathing against my ear. I didn't even know what he wanted me to repeat. Say that sound you just made, the one that drives me insane. My pulse jumped out of rhythm. I should have stopped him. I should have taken a breath. I should have remembered I had a home, a husband, a life. But instead, he struck again. His mouth crushing mine. Hands dragging me closer. And the room spinning into colors I wasn't prepared for. My body betrayed me. I exploded. A moan I had never heard before ricocheted out of me. Raw, shaky, unfiltered. The kind of moan that doesn't belong to a married woman. His eyes widened. And that's when obsession walked in. Silent. And deadly. You don't moan like that for him, do you? His voice cracked something inside me. I wanted to lie. I wanted to laugh it off. I wanted to detach. But he didn't give me time. His fingers traveled up my spine, slow, claiming, tracing me like a map he had memorized too deeply. "You're mine when you sound like that," he breathed. My chest tightened. My breath stuttered. My thoughts tangled like yarn pulled too hard. I should have run. But his touch. His grip. His heat. It wrapped around me like a noose, tender at first, then slowly tightening. Obsessed. That's what he became. And I felt myself sinking into it. Not because I wanted to. But because part of me liked being wanted that fiercely. When he struck me again. Not with pain, but with passion. My body betrayed me all over again. I exploded. A second moan. Deeper. Longer. More revealing. His hand gripped my jaw, tilting my face to him. "That sound," he murmured, breathing heavily. "That's the mystery I'll solve until you break." His words were fire. His touch was thunder. His obsession was the storm gathering above us. And I, a married woman with too many reasons to stop, let the storm pull me deeper. Because the mystery of my moans. He was determined to uncover them. Piece by trembling piece. And that was the night passion became obsession. And obsession began to tighten. Around both of us. The night he finally snapped didn't come quietly. It arrived like a storm, sudden, trembling, impossible to stop. I remember the way the room felt before it happened. Heavy. Thick. Like the walls knew the end was coming before I did. He stood in front of me, chest rising slow, eyes darker than I had ever seen them. The same man whose touch once made me melt. Now looked like he had reached the edge of himself. The very edge of obsession. "Tell me," he said, voice low, "why do you keep running, and still come back to me?" I swallowed. My knees felt weak. I had no answer, only the truth I'd been terrified to admit. Because he struck a part of me no one else ever reached. Because his presence hit deeper than my reasoning. Because his voice unlocked something inside me that shouldn't exist. And he knew. He stepped closer. His fingers brushed my chin, soft, yet shaking like he was fighting himself. "You're destroying me," he whispered. "But you keep calling me back." His breath, hot against my skin, sent a shock through me. My heart was punching my ribs like it wanted out. I whispered, "I didn't mean to." His laugh was broken. "You did. We both did. This thing, whatever we built, it was destined to burn." And then he struck, not with pain, not with violence. But with truth, with intensity so fierce it ripped the last thread holding me together. Everything inside me exploded, emotionally, mentally, painfully, beautifully. A storm of guilt, desire, fear, longing, and all the moans I had swallowed for months. I felt my knees buckle, my breath catching, my heart racing like it wanted to outrun fate. He caught me before I collapsed. For a moment we held on to each other like two people drowning in the same ocean. Pulling each other under, yet refusing to let go. The obsession snapped. Not because it weakened. But because it grew too powerful to hide any longer. His forehead pressed to mine. "I can't keep doing this," he whispered. "You make me feel alive, but you are. You're killing my peace." Tears slipped down my cheeks. Not from sadness. From the realization that we had crossed every line possible. And there was no going back. He kissed my forehead softly. The gentlest touch after the wildest storm. "That's the last time," he said. "We both know it has to be." But the way he looked at me. The way my body reacted. The way the room still trembled with everything we tried to bury. We both knew this wasn't an ending. Only a pause. A dangerous pause. He walked away first, slow, stiff, trying not to turn back. I stood there, still shaking from the explosion inside me. Still hearing it. Still feeling it. still knowing that even though he walked away, we were far from done. Our mystery had only deepened. And the moan he pulled from me that night? It would haunt us both forever.